Very good morning, Eswatini. Thank you for joining us. It is exactly 6 o'clock on the dot. My name is Lungelele Makakula. Good morning and welcome. It is the 25th of January 2024. I'm with my co-host, Umguni Shumnagbili. How are you this morning?
I'm doing very well, Lungelele.
This is Sonzela weekend. I'm very
Oh
well.
yes, very excited for that.
Yeah.
But also I think the other exciting news list divile ngizabatwe ukuthi iParliament sekunema dates la tentative through Benedict Xaba, who is the Clerk of Parliament. They are already making preparations for ukuthi uma ivulwa vele tonke tinfo tibe time ngemumo and other dates laphumile emaphephandabeni. Lungelele, I think we're talking about it off air, the excitement that we have about ingonzo ecala umnyaka as well as emaganwini.
There's a whole lot of events that are coming up.
Now. Yeah, but I think it's very exciting to look at this one in advance so we can prepare ourselves for la malanga lamakhulu event.
Yeah. All right, Mbona, thank you for joining us. Lamhlekuseni sidaba side kati indzaba tebantfwana njengoba tawukhumula nje ukuthi kuleli viki tivuliwe tikolo sasifuna kuva nje ukuthi ingabe inhlala kahle yabo bantfwana kakhulu kati nje labo labangema head emakhaya ma child headed families sitawukhulumisana nje na director disaster manager ka DPM's office liveli Eswatini nje libalelwa esigabeni semfica etindzabeni tekunaka abantfwana emhlabeni kanti inhloso ukuthi libe ngunombolo 1 ngikubuka nje lizinga lelisetulu lebantfwana labahlukubetwako nelizinga lebantfwana labatsingile nalabalahlwe batali babo lihovisi lelibuke inhlala kahle ebantfwana lakho lihlelo lomasu lolicinisekisa inhlala kahle yabo bantfwana lapha eSwatini lohlelo kwelifaka ekhathi tindzaba tebantfwana labangakabhaliswa labatsinga imindeni kanye nalabo labatinhloko temindeni sabe sina disaster manager ka DPM's office Zandile Mavuso ukukhuluma nje ngetindzaba tebantfwana labatinhloko emakhaya ngetinkinga ababhekana nato nokuthi ihovisi la DPM libasita ngani kakhulu kade njenyalo lokusekuvule tikolo sabe sinaye nga7.
Guest Princess joinwe ngilabaqhamuka lapha eTaiwan Technical Mission, Mr. Andrew Su as well as Boy Ronald Mavuso kusikhulumisa nge-bilateral project between Eswatini and Taiwan lekuthiwa ke Aquaculture project. It is entering into its 4th year lonyaka njengoba yaqalwa ngeminyaka wa 2020 bukeke kuthuthukisa telihlangothi letekulima ehlangothini lweka fry reproduction kakhulu ke tindzaba leti titsinza tinhlandi timfishi sibonile eminyakeni le endlulile asingashubekisa nje sithi 3 years 2 years solokuba introducer tilapia fish lengathi ine market demand lenkulu lapha eAfrica livela kangwane ke nalo liyati position ukuthi libe amongst the biggest suppliers of this breed of fish or this type of fish naletinye ke tinhlangothi lesetisite livela kangwane kakhulu kulolu hlangothi lwaka fry reproduction nasenzabe nje yakalabor ekuthenini eMaswati athole imisebenzi atisebende lokukhulu kakhulu ukuthi ayatisebenda khona necasha lamanye eMaswati sivile ke nakuyo indvuna yetekulima mayisilethela interview yayo yekucala ngemva ukuthi bawuvusela silo lapha ka Eswatini TV ka Kusile breakfast show ukuthi ayigcizela indzabe ukuthi kutekulima kufanele ukuthi si diversify kakhulu singabuki nje kulima umbila kuphela yebo umbila usilethela inzuzo lenkulu silivela kangwane kodwa naleti tinhlangothi etfaya ekhathi bo fry reproduction bo pig industry tithelo cishe konke lanako kufuna ukuthi kuthathelwe ke etulu kube yinvo letasita ukuthi sifukule umnotho welive la kangwane sikhulumisa kabanti indzaba yayo I fry reproduction noma ke aquaculture project naye Mr. Andrew Su as well as Boy Ronald Mavuso from Taiwan Technical Mission mabafika.
Ngo 5 minutes after 6 asibuke nadile thamba imbili maphephandaba. Sicela sibuke iTimes of Eswatini sibuka leti hamba embili. Leti hamba embili Prince Melana expresses shock, says ministry is not aware of Master's office probe. Minister says he heard about it for the first time when councillor congratulated him. Meanwhile, inquiry begins. 2 cases heard and the late Sikakane's daughter makes startling allegations. Kuletinye lihamba embili TLC restores site for 132 patients. Kulenye lahamba embili Hailstorm aftermath over 900 pupils at home. And kuletinye lihamba embili the parliament at 2 dates eyed for party opening. And Nasibuka Tinzabata businessman murder Kamdoti gang is suspected.
Kuthamba embili kutemidlalo, the leading story there is Celtics rejecting Birds 30k emalangeni offer, which is in the bid for strong defender. NFD player reportedly has 60,000 emalangeni price tag on his head, who is dubbed an impressive player. Kamagelayo le trusted defender Ngongosing Pile Shongwe, who looks set to make a big move. Another story in Singizini, import SA Pirates superfan. Orlando Pirates superfan Nati drum boss Zulu made a memorable appearance at the King Sobuza II Memorial Stadium during Singizini Hotspurs match against Denver Sundowns. Kanzike kulenye indzaba Bafana is through to last 16 ku Africa Cup of Nations yaka CAF. Kulandzela ukuthi ke i-draw 0-0 ne Tunisia. Phindze kube nama log standings ayo Africa Cup of Nations. Those are the only leading headlines in terms of Eswatini this morning.
Moving on to the Eswatini Observer, Kuleti Hamba Mbili Master's Office probe women expose rot and corruption. Chief Justice said to have accused Master Deputy of taking over rich estate. Kulenyele Hamba Mbili ex-journal arrested for fiance's rape. Kanti Kulenyele Hamba Mbili traditional healer arrested for shooting intruder.
Kutemidlalo ku Eswatini Observer lomhla ekseni, the leading story there, Bulls crawl is dismantled as Palmer resigns. Player tendered his resignation letter on Tuesday. Another player, Mxolisi Dlamini, expelled. Team accepts apology for other players. Bafana hold Tunisia to advance in AFCON is another leading story. It's Denver edge Ezulwini United after winning 1-0 in the MTN Premier League. This was during a pending Week 13 match that was played at Tabangulu Stadium in Laitolo.
Lethamba imbili ku-Eswatini Daily News lomuhla, EU's 550 million boost for vocational education and youth empowerment. Kulenyele hamba imbili PM strengthens ties with Buganda Kingdom. Kanti kuletinye leti ihamba embili ku-Eswatini Daily News ngeyindzaba ye-Taiwan medical mission which has brought relief to Nkilongo.
Le hamba embili ke indzaba ku Eswatini Daily News Sport, the tough tackling veteran defender Mandla Palmer resigns from Babane Highlanders and looks set to join Ezulwini United, as seen on that photo. So vele uyabavalelisa uthi sure. Kulenye ke Deputy Pico in EFA Safety Committee, another one Anthony Marshall out for 10 weeks in the English Premier League.
Yeah, ngiletoile thamba imbili kumaphephandzaba. Sitawutsa salikhefu sibuye sichubeke netindzaba teSwatini.
Umsakato wetithombe iEswatini TV utibophelele kuhlonipha nekulandzela umgomo wetekusakata loweluswe libandla letekuchumana eVeni.
Ngephansi kwalomgomo sitimisele kusakata tindzaba tenteya ngaleso sikhatsi, tindzaba letide magama laqosheme, letitsembekile, letitsinza tonke tinhlangothi naletisebaleni.
Kusukela kutepolitiki, tetemphilo, tekulima, tetinkantolo, netemhlaba wonke jikelele, siniletsela tindzaba njengoba tinjalo ngaleso sikhatsi letenteka ngaso.
Kanzi kulomsakato siphindze sikulethele lonke luhlobo lwetemidlalo kusuka emidlalweni welibhola letinyawo kuye emidlalweni ledlalelwa ematafuleni kanye naleto letichamuka ngaphandle kwakuleli.
Leti tindzaba lowutiletselwa ngumsakato wetithombe iEswatini TV.
Asibenze silemukele siyavuselana lotsandza kusivulela nathi tindzaba. Iphinila ndvunankulu umhlonishwa wathola idladla lithi uhulumende utimisele kuvala tikhala letikhona letibanga kutsi bomake kanye nebantfu labasha abasalele imuva etindzabeni tentfutfuko kuleli. Iphinila ndvunankulu belikhuluma ngesikhatsi tinhlangotsi letehlukene letfaka ekhatsi yamatiko kahulumende kanye netinhlangano letingekho ngaphansi kahulumende tisayina tivumelwano nenhlangano yemava labamhlophe kuleli lapho khona lenhlangano itawusekela letinhlangotsi ngemali lengu 557 million emalangeni. Letivumelwano tisayinele kolishi letemakhono e-court.
It is unfortunate, Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, that women and youth are a greater percentage of the national development of the national population, with 52% women and 79% youth. However, these groups remain the most underrepresented of the population in both economic and political sector. Pervasive unemployment, underemployment, and longer school to work transitions are some of the most significant challenges experienced by women and the youth population.
Mbasata wenhlangano yemava labamhlophe e-European Union kuleli Desislava Chomelova uthi ngemuva kokubonisana nahulumende netinhlangano letinye babone kukuhle kusekela tinhlelo letifaka ekhatsi letitawucondzana ngcone kutfutfukisa abantu labasha bomake kanye naletinye tinhlangotsi tebantfu leticindzetelekile ekutheni babe nemakhono ekuthi bacashwe baphindze bativulele imisebenti yabo kutfutfuke umnotho welive.
The EU unwaveringly supports Eswatini to achieve these major goals. Our cooperation is mainly channeled through our programs in the country, implemented by various international, UN, and local organizations. And these programs are always very much aligned with the National Development Plan and the Agenda 2030 for Sustainable Development.
Kulomsebenzi liphinda ndvunankulu belisingathwe indvuna yetekuhlela umnotfo umhlonishwa Dr. Tambo Gina kanye nendvuna yetemfundvo umhlonishwa Owen Ncumalo kanti tinhlangano letingekho ngaphansi kwahulumende tona betimelelwe ngumcondzisi wakakhango Thembinkosi Dlamini. Etindzabeni te-Eswatini TV kubika Mbongwa Dube navuma inkosi Nzinisa eMbabane.
Bantfu labangu 7,193 labavela emakhaya langu 6,426 bathikametwe litulu lebelihamba nesiphepho belahlasela kuleli kusuka ngenyanga yeNgongoni eminyakeni ophelile kanye nesangcotho sesibili lesihlasele sifundza sakamanzini kanye naseshiselweni nakusuka lenyanga lesetulo. Liphinde landvunankulu umhlonishwa wathulisile dladla lithi kulesangcotho senyanga yeNgongoni hulumende asebentisa libandla lekuphonga tehlakalo wabambisene nebaphalali i-Eswatini Red Cross Society kanye na World Vision Eswatini sewukhone kunika imaswati langu 6,521 lusito oluphuthumako.
Sicela kakhulu ngalaba lokhanza vele ukuthi kude lutho sikhanzela ekhaya lapho labantwana babili ngumfana nenfombatana lenhlupheko nje uyibona wehla lapha kodwa labatali bekubatali labati khandlako impela ngoba lelikhaya uyabona ukuthi bekulikhaya liphila nalo ke belinalo monakalo sishiye nje basebenta impela balilungisa batawuphinze babuyele eNDMA ubuke indlela yokuthi ngoba sigcine lapho bangakhona nokulima sayeke nakalo umunye gogo infombi leseyikhulile nje impela le lively nakhona kuyakhiwa nje kusuke futhi vele siyakha iminye ndana nje lemithi lesendlule kuyo kepha kulethi intindza wasekhona lamaseyili ngilesi kushito ke sathi uma shuthi kusene likhaya leneliseyili kunelikhaya lelisambonye nge-card box kuyabonakala ukuthi vele lolu khaya kude lutho. So now-ke there'll be next siwagijimele.
Lilunga lePhalamende lenkundla yasemafutheni sabelo mthetho ubonga uhulumende ngekusukumela etula side eMaswati lathinzekile.
eMaswati atawusitakala Nkosi yami. Cela ukuthi babeketele bona akusimnanzi sebanethwe kakhulu kepha nje kuyasetshenzwa ekunene. Sibonga uhulumende wembube kakhulu nako konke.
Lolu sithu lesinikwe eMaswati lifaya ekhathi emaseyini ekungibonya tindlu la 1,300 kanye nemathende lasihlanu ukuthi eMaswati lasenzekile khona ekufihla inhloko letiphepho telimate emakhaya impahla timoto emabhizinisi tikolwa kanye netibhedlela etindzabeni kubika Fortune Dlangamandla nginathemba Shabangu sisembabane.
Imvuna yelitiko letemthetho nemthetho-sekelo umhlonishwa womphana Nkosi Simelane uvakashela umnyango wakucondzisa timilo yenhlangano kanye nenkantolo yakamantshi lesenhlangano kubuka inhlalakahle kanye nekusebenta kwalomnyango kanye netinkantolo.
Eluhambeni lwayo imvuna yelitiko letemthetho nemthetho-sekelo icale yavakashela umnyango wokucondzisa timilo netigwegwe losenhlangano. Labaningi bantfu labavalelwe kulesakhiwo salomnyango ngulababekwe macala ekweba labakha 41%, kulandzele lababekwe macala ekuphula umtsetfo we-SODV labakha 18%, kubala kulamanye macala. Indvuna yelitiko letemtsetfo nemtsetfo-sekelo umhlonishwa umfana Nkosi Simelane uphawula ngeluhambo lwakhe kulomnyango.
Sesibonile inkinga talapha bongosi siphinde sinikhalele ukuthi hey buqala bongosi eveni indlela nani nisebenza kusuku anilali solontikati indzaba buqala le sibuya khona nje correction labantu sebaningi kakhulu kule nombolo efanele igcino.
Indvuna ichubekele enkantolo yamanje yenhlangano lapho manje lomkhulu Joseph Dlamini atise indvuna ngencwadzi leyakhishwa ngumasipala waleli dolobha eminyakeni lophelile leyathi asivalwe lesakhiwo ngetizatfu tekuthi sesiyingoti kubantfu.
Kepha lokuthi esitibonele kona bongosi akusiko ukuthi umthoyi lokubaluleke kangaka emhlabeni eveni kube bethu umthoyi ukuthi lesive kani yini. Cha ngithemba ukuthi neportfolio stayiletha mhlawumbe ukuthi mathute esitobona iba nawo nayo emandla ukuthi ibone nayo ukuthi sibamba sithini.
Sakhiwo semnyango wekucondzisa timilo netigwegwe lesisenhlangano silungele kuthwala abantu labangu-200 kuphela. Kepha kungumanje bangu-352 bantfu labaphule umtsetfo labagcinwe kulesakhiwo. Lobika-ke tindzabeni te-Eswatini TV nguthando kuhle Mdluli ngesenhlangano.
Aqalile emalungiselelo ekuvulwa kwePhalamende el-12 lekubheka ukuthi ivulwe silo inkosi Mswati wesithathu. Ngisho kwamabhalane wePhalamende Benedict Xaba uthi sekutawuthi njalo njengabo lesithathu evikini letinhlangothi letitsinsekako tihlangane kude kuyofika lilanga lekuvulwa kwayo iPhalamende.
Ngalesithathu tinhlangothi letinyenti tehlukahlukene letitsinsekako ekuvulweni kwePhalamende lokufaya ekhathi ematiko kahulumende kanye netinkampani takhe ehulumende bahlangene lapho khona bebakase bafaka imivo ngenhloso yokuqinisekisa ukuthi umsebenzi wokuvula kwePhalamende el-12 uba impumelelo. Mabhalane wePhalamende Benedict Xaba uchaza kabanti.
Sibuke ukuthi ngoba sigaba sekucala usale 12 parliament kufuneka vele ukuthi sisethele tone nekusho nje state opening vele ngiyona policy lesho ukuthi level back up kusho kwanyalo ke kusho nje ukuthi up to sibheke ukuthi kutakusho ukuthi akuze kube nge2028 kutawusebenza kanjani. So lezi zinga ke sifuna kulibeka etulu kakhulu vele kuze imessage ikulolonke eliswati ifike kwadeke ukuthi vele naku iParliament seyivuliwe noma ke ema date seta buya sathi kahle sive satise singasho nje ukuthi vele siParliament sesimenge ngemumo ukuthi cha noma sengathiwa iyavulwa kumbe emavikeni letako singasikhanza sesilungele. So sive satisa kabanti ekutheni kutawuhamba njani ema logistics emva kweSunday press conference.
Kulomhlangano lobanjwe endlini yaba yesikhulu letinhlangothi titsinsekako tivete bomcokwa bekukhulumisana kulabo towe bahamba embili ekuhleni lomsebenzi kude kubebede kugilana etindzabeni kubika Fortune Dlangamandla nginathemba Shabangu sisePhalamende.
Libandla lelicasha abothishela i-Teaching Service Commission livusetela ama-contract abothishela labalinganiselwa ku-1286. Mapalane waleli bandla Nhlanhla Dlamini uthi lama-contract atawuvusetelwa lingakapheli eliviki elisetulu.
Uwephetha lo mnyaka wa last year uhulumende wasipha 90 post abo deputy head teachers. Yaqala ke commission vele la utophela lo mnyaka lophelile kuba interviewwa siya ngasepheleni ngasekucedzeni nje ku interview la kuthishela lapha. Labanye babo sebavele baposiwe basetikolweni. Lokho uhulumende abekwentela ukuthi ucala lo mnyaka uqale kahle. Kwesibili singaphinde sibonga uhulumende lokuthi so uphinze wasivumela lokuthi sirenewe ama-contracts abothishela la 1286 kule besibacelile laba 1835. Siyakudumisa kakhulu lokho ngoba ukhomba kona lokuthi uhulumende uyayinaka indzaba yemfundo. Nabothishela labo nje ndlondlo i-commission nyalo isethi kwabo iyasebenta ilwela lokuthi kusukela ngelesihlanu kuya ngeletaku basetikolweni basebenza.
Balinganiselwa kulabangama-35 balimi bamangoza labakhulu nalabancane esebabhalisile enkampanini yahulumende lethenga iphindze ithengise tibhidvo netithelo kuleli eNamport. Lolu hlelo lokubhalisa labalimi lohlose kwadi ukuthi bakhicita lokunganani kude batawukhona ukusitakala etinhlelweni letinyenti lenkampani letiniketa abalimi. Umcondzisi walenkampani Bhekizwa Maziya uthi kumcoka ukuthi balimi batfole kuceceshwa kuloko labakulimako baphindze baxhumaniswe netimakethe kanye nekuthi babe nelitfuba lekushayelana ligwayi.
Presentations laphumela lamhla nama-contributions lama-suggestions have not gone into waste. Siwathethe siyophinde silale phasi naleli bandla lesisebenza nalo sibuke ukuthi ngikuphi lokungakhona kusheshe kulungiseka masinyane, ngikuphi lokungafuna sikubuke in the medium term, ngikuphi lokufuna sikufake ku-strategy esilandelayo sikulungise. We really thank and appreciate you for that. Kuyakhanya again ukuthi logo register by the farmers to us singinamport kusisita ukuthi sikhona kwathi ukuthi ngibani vele lo mlimi lokuphi lolima ini alimele nganani la kulimeni lokutawuphuma umkhicito nini. So lokusho ukuthi ke yize sisinyalo we have 34 farmers. They still need ukuthi those labasasele ngaphandle siyacela lokuthi baqhubeke le registration process ayikavalwa isaqhubeka. We encourage them to continue registering through our information system.
Umzolo walo infombatana loneminyaka engu-22 kudala uvele embiko enkantolo yamanje yenhlangano abekwe licala lekushaya loyo lowake wabasingani sakhe.
Umsolwa longusiphephelo mamba loneminyaka lengu-22 wakamzizi eshiselweni uvele embiko enkantolo yamanje yenhlangano bekwemacala lamabili ekuphula umthetho weSodov. Ecaleni lekucala kuthiwa lo msolwa washaya Themba Mathe lobekasingani sakhe ngetimphama. Kanti ecaleni lesibili kuthiwa lo msolwa washaya lifasitelo lekhumbi lebukwe nguThemba Mathe lobekasingani sakhe umsolwa. Lo msolwa ucele kutokela ngephandle kulamacala labekwe wona. Inkantolo itsite utawukhipha imali lengu-2000 emalangeni noma agcinwe ngumnyango locondzisa timiliyoni etigwegwe ate abuye enkantolo mhla ka-29 ngenyanga yeNdlovana. Ngakulokunye basolwa labane lekubolungile mamba wakumahlanya, Selina Nzimanze wasezulwini, Denketile Maseko wasezulwini kanye naMuzi Vilakati wasemandambe bavele embiko enkantolo yamanje yenhlangano babekwe licala lekweba impahla lebita 9599 esitolo saseTruPep lesedolobheni enhlangano. Kuthiwa labasolwa bende lokucala mhla ka-16 January kulomnyaka. Impahla lebiwe ngilabasolwa ifaka ekhatsi amabhuluko esikolo langu-30 labita 4299 emalangeni, emasheti esikolo langu-30 labita 4299 emalangeni kanye namasokisi esikolo langu-56 labita 1000 emalangeni. Inkantolo itsite labasolwa batawuve bagcinwe ngumnyango locondzisa timiliyoni etigwegwe. Kanti batawubuya inkantolo mhla ka-24 kule nyanga lesetulu kutochubeka naleli cala. Lobika-ke tindzabeni Eswatini TV nguthando kuhle Mdluli ngisenhlangano.
Nasikakulokunye basolwa lababili bavele embi kwenkantolo yamanje enhlangano babekwe emacala lahlukene ekwephula umthetho we-money laundering.
Umsolwa longubongiwe langa loneminyaka lengu-28 ukulichamkisa even labomakhelwane South Africa eNewcastle uvele embi kwenkantolo yamanje enhlangano abekwelicala lekuphula umthetho we-money laundering and Financing Terrorism Act. Ngekusho kwemaphepha senkantolo lomsolwa wangena lapha eveni nemali lengu-24,130 wemarandi. Lahluleka kuyibika kube mthetho. Lomsolwa kuthiwa wente lobucala mhla ka-18 kule nyanga lesetulu. Kanti ecaleni lesibili kuthiwa lomsolwa uphule umthetho wekuphuma nekungena lapha eveni. Kuthiwa lomsolwa wangena ngendlela lengakafaneli lapha eveni, wahlala ngaphandle kwemvumo. Lomsolwa ubese ucela inkantolo kutokela ngephandle. Inkantolo isivumile lesicelo yathi lomsolwa utawukhipha imali lengu-3,000 emalangeni. Kanti utawubuya tovusela inkantolo mhla ka-29 February asamele kuchubeka nalelicala mhla ka-22 May kulomnyaka. Ngakulokunye umsolwa longuSakhile Khumalo loneminyaka lengu-35 wakahlatsi uvele embi kwenkantolo yamanje enhlangano abekwelicala lekuphula umthetho we-money laundering and Financing Terrorism Act. Kuthiwa lomsolwa wangena lapha eveni aphethe imali lengu-35,030 wemarandi wangayibiki kube mthetho. Lomsolwa kuthiwa wente lobucala mhla ka-18 kule nyanga lesetulu endzaweni yasemshololo eshiselweni. Lomsolwa ubese ucela inkantolo kutokela ngephandle. Inkantolo isivumile lesicelo yathi lomsolwa utawukhipha imali lengu-3,000 emalangeni. Kanti utawubuya tovusela inkantolo mhla ka-29 February asamele kuchubeka nalelicala mhla ka-22 May kulomnyaka. Lobika-ke tindzabeni Eswatini TV nguthando kuhle Mdluli ngisenhlangano.
Kutemidlalo kapteni welicembu lemanzini Wanderers Mlamuli Mlaba Nkambule uthi solo basebenta ngekuthi khandla kodwa matonke etindlela ukuthi basitele licembu lingadliwa inkemba kule season lesetulu. Nkambule ukhosata abadlali labanesikhathi kule licembu becelete ama senior players ukuthi basebente ngekuthi misela kude ukuthi le licembu liphindze lijabulise abalandzeli balo.
We've been working very hard ku training. So the sabuya ama holidays kasaphumula. So we've never had any break even a single day. But nje ma senior player adlala irole enkulu ke team yethu. Especially the situation lesikiyo semanzini Wanderers. So our day because mawubuka kahle kunama youngsters nathi siwanikele lethemba ukuthi we can do it like send last season. But asifuni ukuthi Kansas kule situation leyo again because kulikhuni kusiwalanders asikhona khona. Njengoba ubona ukuthi njengoba ngisho nje asitha nje break asikhonje ukubreak even one day. So kube siyabona ngasiya break but we have to work hard. We have to dig deep on our pocket ukuze team yabamba ithasebe.
Umqeqeshi lomusha welicembu leNsingizini Hotspurs lodalela eveni laseZimbabwe Alexio Sejon uthi umsebenzi lomkhulu laniketwe wona ukuthi yaphakamisa indzebe yengonyama cup yalonyaka aphindze acethe kahle indzebe ye-league yalonyaka. Kwanyalo usancobe imidlalo yakhe lemibili acecesha lelicembu.
Vodibukeka tilihambela kahle icembu leNsingizini Hotspurs ikakhulu kade umqeqeshi walo lomusha Alexio Sejon waseveni laseZimbabwe longcoba umdlalo wakhe wesibili kusukela aqalile ececesha lelicembu. Sejon emidlalweni wakhe wekucala washaya iRoyal Party ngaphasi kwenzebe ye-10 Premier League wabuya emidlalweni wesibili wengonyama cup washaya iDenver Sundowns esigabeni se-last 16 kuthi licembu lichubekele esigabeni sema-quarter finals.
Yeah, it's a big club. It's a big club with very big ambitions.
Akhuluma nalo msakato Sejon uchazile ukuthi licembu leNsingizini Hotspurs libonakala lelicembu lelikhulu lapha eveni lilinetifiso letinkulu emidlalweni webhola eveni kanzi naseveni katini le-Afrika. Wanyalo unika umsebenzi wekuthi atame ukuphakamisa yona indzebe yengonyama cup aphindze abuke nekucetha kahle endzebeni yeligi yalonyaka.
That was outcome was positive already.
Insingizini Hotspurs isenzebeni esiphohlongo endzebeni yeligi inemaphuzu langu-20 emidlalweni engu-14 leyo idlalile kanzi isemuva ngemaphuzu lasikhombisa ku-Green Mamba lehlete esicongweni. Umdlalo wayo lolandzelanga ngesizini Hotspurs tawuthola netulu nelicembu le-Ezulwini United aphasi kwenzebe ye-10 Premier League ngemgcibelo khona enhlangano. Lobikela umsakato Eswatini TV kutemidlalo ngilinda Dlamini kanzi umbiko uhlanganiswa nguFabrice Msonera eMbabane.
Sathepeza tindzaba tefunga leto temidlalo sithaba hlelo temangetsana sibuya sihlabe sicocisana nebase Taiwan Medical Mission.
Uhlelweni sijoyinwa ke labaqhamuka lapha eTaiwan Technical Mission lababuke iproject ye Aquaculture. Iproject ke lena lebuke kufukula indzaba ye fry reproduction lokuhlangothi ke libuke kukhicita tinhlanzi noma ke timfishi letitawuba nemakethe letawuba nenzuzo lenkhulu lapha eveni nangephandle kwalapha eveni tawusita ke nelivela kangwane tinhlangothini letiningi cala nje ngokona lokufukula umnotho kwesibili job creation samaswati akhona kuticasha wona akhona nekucasha lamanye lokusita kakhulu ke live la kangwane lisabhekene nayo insaya lenkulu ye unemployment nanayo kwekuthi nje nesilo semhlaba sathi akuhanjwe kusuka emagonso lathinkwe yawusenjetwa dona tindzaba tekufukula umnotho welive la kangwane. We are joined by Mr. Andrew Su from the Taiwan Technical Mission under the Aquaculture project. I understand you are the manager there, Mr. Andrew Su. Welcome to the program. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning, everybody. My name is Andrew Su, Aquaculture Project Manager in Taiwan Technical Mission.
Let's talk about the Aquaculture project. You've managed it, I believe, now for 2 years, but the project is 4 years old because I believe it started in 2020.
Yes.
Just, give us a brief background of, what it is. What is the Aquaculture project?
Aquaculture project is desired. The idea is help the Eswatini develop tilapia aquaculture.
Okay.
Yes, and help the fish farmer improve the farming technical, rise the income, and over the job opportunity for the fish farmer. And the project target is very important to establish one aquaculture center in the markets. Right now, always continue construction, but I look forward can finish before the February in the 2024.
So this year?
Yes,
Okay.
but because this center is very important, he will reproduce the tilapia fry for fish farmer.
Okay.
Yeah.
You just talk to me about what I'm seeing on the TV right now. What is happening right now? I saw some nets. Are those fishing nets? What was being prepared here?
Yeah, because always every 2 weeks, always go to a fish farmer, visit a fish farmer, teach him how to feed in the fish, check the water quality.
Okay.
It's fine or not fine, necessary change water or not, and then teach how to harvesting in the treatment of the fish.
Okay.
Because many Eswatini, he doesn't know how to treatment the fish.
Okay.
Because
is this tilapia fish the one that we're seeing on screen right now?
Yes, this is tilapia fish.
Okay.
Yes.
So I saw you there assessing the water. That water looked a bit green. So once you see that the water is not entirely safe for fish harvesting, so to speak, what's the next step there? Do you then try to, how do you clean the water? How do you advise that they have clean water where the fish can, live?
As aquaculture, very important the water. It's necessary change water for each month or each week, and very important. If you don't have enough water, it's very difficult to keep your fish.
Yeah. I do see that you also take them through some, I would call them seminars where you teach them quite a lot of things. I also do see microscopes there on that. But what I'm also realizing is quite a lot of young black Eswatini. Perhaps you could tell us about the main targets, under the Taiwan Technical Mission Aquaculture project. Who are your main targets? And maybe we'll then touch on the important achievements. But let's start with the main targets.
Okay, because as you see the video is every year, all the whole project until right now, I hold the 9 basic workshop for fish farmer, is 6 advanced workshop for technician and the extensionist from the Ministry of Agriculture. Yes, because here is before no have too much technology and the knowledge about the tilapia aquaculture. And this is very important. The second is need to produce 450,000 baby fish in whole project to fish farmer, because in the market don't have aquaculture station can reproduce the baby fish for a fish farmer. Second is always promote tilapia aquaculture for the fish farmer. This project is necessary promote 40 fish farmer. Okay. Right now we are reached 20 fish farmer. You can see always providing technical guidance, teach the fish farmer how to feed in, how to change water, how to use the fish net to harvesting your fish. It's very important for fish farmer always first time.
Right. It's quite interesting. I'm looking at the numbers. You've spoken on about 643 fish breeders plus going forward. I'm interested in knowing how much fish should be produced, particularly the tilapia fish. Am I correct when I talk about 36,000 that I read online? 36,000 tilapia fish produce.
Because the aquaculture center is very important stocking this tilapia breeder. Okay. Because I need the tilapia breeder to do the reproduction, the tilapia fry. The target is 1 year necessary produce 200,000 tilapia fry for fish farmer.
Okay.
Yes, but minimum you need to produce the 200,000. but the potential that this aquaculture center can produce 500,000.
Million?
Yes, 500,000 in each year.
Wow.
No problem, because where more fish farmer will attend this aquaculture project, and you need to produce more fish for a fish farmer.
Right. Maybe the market for it in Eswatini, how big is the appetite for tilapia fish in Eswatini, and maybe outside of Eswatini as well, because another thing that has been particularly emphasized in the cabinet retreat is that we must look into exporting a lot of our products into other countries like South Africa and other countries in the southern region. Are we looking into exporting tilapia fish? How much of the market is there, the appetite for it?
The market right now is initial market, not yet opening.
Right.
The people when produce your tilapia always over the same community, your neighbors, your family. Not yet can export to the another country, because aquaculture in this country is just starting.
Right.
Yes. Is the fish farmer as family aquaculture.
So it's subsistence farming really, as opposed to commercial. But we are looking into commercializing soon as the market grows. Maybe let's talk about now the benefit that Eswatini gets from this project.
The benefit.
The benefits, yes.
The benefit is for this project is can create more job opportunity. It keep the food security and improve the nutrition in the countryside. Yes. Another benefit is help the fish farmer can increase income. Yes.
Another interesting one, and I was hoping maybe, because I'm not too sure how correct it is, how it's going to help lower environmental disturbance, maybe by reducing the need to catch more wild fish to meet rather the increasing demand for fish, and therefore contribute to preserving wild stock in local rivers. How true is that?
Yes, because right now is not many people cultivation fish in your land. If you can promote the cultivation tilapia in a countryside, the people will reduce to catch the whale fish in a nature den and the river.
Okay.
Yes, and don't have very big impact for nature fish.
Quite interesting. Thank you so much, Mr. Andrew. I want us to talk to Boy Ronald Mavuso, who I understand you came here with. He's the project coordinator. He will join us after the break to talk to us about, some of the on-the-ground projects that they have done with Eswatini in the country. Don't go anywhere.
Eswatini Lifestyle is all about inspiration, drive, and swag. Eswatini Lifestyle is informative and fun while covering all aspects of life, be it people, places, and trends in the kingdom of Eswatini. We got you covered. The focus is on the quality of life. Eswatini Lifestyle will spark your interest. Catch Eswatini Lifestyle every Friday at 7:30 p.m. on Eswatini TV, Simbugo Semaswa.
What do you think the best part of traveling is? Is it the food, or is it the conversation, or is it the sights and sound? If you're ready to explore, we are ready to show you the best way how. We'll give you access to the best luxury getaway sites in the kingdom of Eswatini, and of course show you vacation sites that suit your budget, because you do not need a lot of money to actually have a great time. Join us on the next adventure on Buhle Bethu, only on Eswatini TV.
When you choose your adventures, you do so with an open heart and a desire for the unexpected. You embark on journeys to discover new worlds full of wonder. You choose a path to awaken your senses, a world to make you look up and realize just how inspiring this life can be. Arrive and awaken your heart. Explore life in ways only thought possible in your dreams. Discover just how far you'll go to expand your understanding of life's greatest mysteries. There's just one place on this planet with so much to offer. Now is the time for you to have the royal experience in the kingdom.
Sibe kutsolo nhleli nathi bonke sasiphindze sinamukele ehlelweni samukela nyalo Ronald Boy Mavuso long project coordinator we Aquaculture project sithanza ukukhulumisana na manager wayo le project Mr Andrew Su lo sichazele kabanti ke ama targets ayo nokuthi yasungulwa nini siyafuna ke kuva ukuthi njengoba uthinzile Mr Su indzaba yokuthi babuke kakhulu ukuthi aseke kube ne food security subsistence farming but ke ikhona le long term goal wekuthi salo bayi commercialize njengoba ke live liyafuna ukuthi ikakhulu inhlangothi etaka agriculture lesibona ngathi live la kangwane ngesimo selitulu sakhona siyakhola lo ukuthi sikhone ukufukula umnotho ngaloluhlangothi ka agriculture but we have not been maximizing this sector to its maximum potential. Let's talk to Boy Mavuso. Welcome to the project. Ngele siyakuvusela lomhlekiseni ngabe nivuka njani?
Siyabonga program director.
Ngabe ngcele lokukhulu kakhulu nyalo lesikuthola ukuthi nalo leliphupho lokuthi nidawusuka la ku subsistence farming nifuna commercialize. Talk to us about this dream ukuthi li feasible kangakanani vele nanibuka nyalo ngoba ngiyabona ngiyathemba ukuthi niya benchmark na kulabanye emave niyabuka nalo ukuthi le appetite kule market ikhona itawuba nganani futhi na itawuba khona athi nema projections and sicela nini commercialize ka aquaculture.
Siyabonga. Angicela ngivusele eMaswati kakhulu. Sibonga naleli thuba. Maybe angicela ngithi eMaswati tifishi besolo setilima silimela nje kudla. Nakhona besidonsa nzima ngalo ukuthi 1984 bo 1984 82 sabe sesibabetele hechari la khona sitaqhobosela labantwana baleti fish kusuka la ngaleso sikhathi ke kuze kube kunyalo solo kude kwende lo msebenzi ke wabalukhuni nalabe bakhona babese bayaphuma base bayavulapa uhulumende kaMaswati wembube wase uyabona ke ukuthi hey kulukhuni kulima ngetindzaba tetimali ngaleso sizathu ke kwaba nale project le letawusilekelela seneliqwalingo sithi sikhicita nje sibe siqwaninga uhulumende ke wasokhuluma ke ngendzaba le matima kakhulu le commercialization use asesingabuki lokulimela nje kudla nje kuphela asibuke ukuthi amathuba emsebenzisi yakha kanjani kukhulunywa nge-Agricultural Development Fund niyo ke letawulekelela ifake esandla lesikhulu nalo ukuthi ke nalaba bantwana baleti fish sitabathola ke nyalo sesitaba naleli thuba sesicalile nje kubakhicita sibukile ukuthi masinyane ke kuhamba kanye yaphela nje project kusho ukuthi nebantwana babeti fish batabe bakhona naleli sasasa ke Maswatini selikhulu kakhulu le project nje sehamba emuva Maswati sayanqonqosa sakahwati ivalo emnyango afuna ukungena ebusinessini etinhlalo ngilapho ke leliphupho kelibheke khona uthi awu nase sinel business kudla vele sinako ngeke sakhuluma ngawo nalo ukuthi ke lenhlandi nje lo yibona esitolo nyalo silive iqhamuka ngaphandle iqhamuka nakuboshayina khashane le yona lesinayo la kangwana lesingakhona kuyilima
And what I'm picking from what you are saying, the biggest impediment nyalo lesibambelelako ekuthenini singadikhanzi sidla inhlanti leqhamuka eShayina noma ke kulamanye emave singasinglish nje live linye. Inzabe ukuthi sithi ngale hatchery, ubeke ligama lesingisi lithi hatchery, ngabe ungasichazela ukuthi yini le hatchery? Mina nje le ndlela sochaze ngayo ngiyibona indzawo lenkulu kakhulu esingakhona kubreeder khona noma stilime khona le fish. Iba kanjani kwekuthi emakhosi ayo vele adula kangakanani phela ngabe soveta ukuthi nahulumende soyingenele through Agriculture Development Fund ukuthi if possible kangakanani sibe nayo ukuthi emadvuda.
I-hatchery vele seyikhona sitawusho njalo. Start seyikhona ngale project le project lena ibambe inhlangothi letibili.
Okay.
Iyaqwaninga ikhiqitela abantwana baleti inhlanti. Seyivele ikhona ile markets nakathi nje ebabesu by February, by end of February sibuke ukuthi vele sibe kube sekumsebenzi lomkhulu sokuqalile sinaleli lithemba ke masinyane ngicabanga ukuthi nebantu labadzala abatabe bayivula akusiwa ngeke wangibona ukuthi ukutaba sikhathi lesize sekuvele kukhona kutawukhicitwa nasithi hatchery siyathi nasingabe kusangasethi inkukhwini noma etingulubeni kufuneka labadlwane etingulubeni etinkukhwini kufuneka kube namacala noma ke kube nemantshwele nalati fishini ke kuba nalamanjwele ngilasta uqhamisela khona.
Okay. Quite interesting.
Nalo ukuthi ke itolo bese sebenzisa ukuthi ngithela waye lokuduna nalokusikade.
Yebo.
Kanzi lelihlobo lethu lenhlanti lesinalo. Lesimo nje saba kahle. Siyakhohlwa ngakudla. Dinake kutalana.
Okay.
Ke seyaphuta ke lenhlanti yethu yofika emakethe. Sesithini ke asikhiphe asentele tindvuna todwana ngoba tona cheshe ekhula phise kufike emakethe.
Okay.
Ngilelo ke hlangothi ke le research lakho nitawube sigcila kakhulu khona. Nalabantu fanele sibakhicitako lesitaba mixa le kulabalimi. Kube ngilala abadvuna bodwana. Ngalezo sizathu ke lapho sesitaw khatha nemakhosti ekudla ngoba nawo aphakeme. Phinze yona le project sitawubuka ukuthi singemaswati sinani lesingakusebenzisa kutakhela lokudla.
Okay.
Ngoba nyalo ukudla vele sisathatha ngaphandle. Lokukhona nje ukudla kwetinhlanti lokuqhamuka eSouth Africa.
Quite interesting. Ngiyafuna kuva ke ukuthi Ncele nisasebenta lamakhaya sibuyele ke emuva ngale ka subsistence. Nanayo lokwenzaba lenkulu kakhulu. Ngidawukhumbula nje ukuthi the then Minister of Agriculture waqala lihlelo lelithi asidle kwethu emakhaya. Sisingabuki kakhulu ukuthi sipheke uthenga itolo kube nama backyard garden. Ngiyabona ke nabo tilapia nangabe nithi nje balinyelwanya lokuthi kube nabo food security ukuthi nisasebenta kube iproject lehambe kanjani lena nasibuka nje ukuthi nithi niqale 2020 emaswati ayithakasele kangakanani vele sekakhona yini kusho ukuthi awusida ukhona ukuthi incenye ngeliviki kabili noma kathathu empeleni siyakhona ukuthi nasidla liphalishi ibe khona itilapia lapha eceleni.
Anasibuke in terms of food security vele ifishi iqele kulinywa la kukhulunywa ngakulinywa kwayo lebo 1972 mina ke lapho ngiyabona benseliswati. Kepha ke lelisasasa lalulukhulu emaswati vele bekatilima leti fish for food security.
Okay.
Akusho ukuthi le project ikhanza kude tinhlanti.
Yeah.
Manje ke bese selishona phasi lelulimo lwaleti inhlanga ngalo ukuthi letinfo lokufanele tiqhubelo lenqola sethi sokulukhulu ngoba lenqola iqhutshwa ngelamanjwele kakhulu. Nana lamanjwele lakaseqophelele noma lasezingeni lesedulu hayi kulokunengi awusosuke sokunqobile lapho songamana ukhaliswe kudla lokuhleke ngale nhlanti yethu le idla konke.
Okay.
So ke kulula lokunye nje sokuthi uyingedele phela itawuthola nayo titsako letikazi. Nalo ukuthi ke itolo beyithatha cishe umnyaka wonke ukuthi ifike emakethe. Nawo la ekhangala nje awukusho ukuthi ngomnyaka wonke vele. Kepha nje nawusehlanzeni naso la kubo 7-8 months itabe seyivuthiwe.
Okay.
Kepha nje amaswati ngalo ukuthi inyama vele ayikhuthalela ukhazi silapho kubo 5 months vele sekuyadliwa ekhaya
Sekuyadliwa, yeah.
kepha thina siyajabula lapho ngoba vele sikhuluma nge-food
Security, yes.
kepha-ke nyalo ngale research ngaleli cwaningo lesitawulenda naye indlela lesitatisebenzisa naleli hlobo lenhlande lesitawulakha
Yeah.
nga 3 to 4 months sizabe sidla inhlande.
Is it?
So ukuthi-ke soyabona ukuthi hawu vele lapho
Yeah.
livele seliyembili.
Seliyembili, yeah. Ngiyabona ukuthi leliphupho le-mass production ngale ka-commercialization sesembili mbamba na ukhuluma nje nga-3 months. And ukuthi-ke sibukile lo ukuthi njengoba ushilo oncele ukuthi silive sifuna kukhicitela nalokudla kwato letinhlandi. Cha, nangemambala siyethemba ukuthi live litawuzuza kakhulu kuyo le project. Bekunene ifike ngeminyaka wa-2020 officially le project lena ingena eminyakeni wayo wesine. Ingena nje kulo mnyaka wesine vele seyibuke kona ku-commercializer kutawuthi kuphela inyanga ya February kugadziwe ukuthi sibe nangemambala sicala i-commercialization yethu letawuhambelana ke ne-mass production live langwane ligcine selikhona ukuthi ligcine selithengisela nabo makhelwane. Sibonga kakhulu ke kuye Ronald Boy Mavuso long project coordinator na kuye Mr. Andrew Su who is the manager kuye Aquaculture project under the Taiwan Technical Mission. Sibahlo emakethe masinyane sitabuya sichubeka nehlelo.
We at Eswatini Television Authority are committed to observing the Eswatini Communication Commission's Broadcasting Code of Conduct.
Under the code, we are committed to broadcast news that is current, free from hate speech, accurate, balanced, and fair.
From politics to business, health, agriculture, courts, and global news, we bring you the latest updates as they happen, when they happen.
We cover all the sporting codes from the football pitch to the chessboards.
This is Eswatini TV News.
When you choose your adventures, you do so with an open heart and a desire for the unexpected. You embark on journeys to discover new worlds full of wonder. You choose a path to awaken your senses, a world to make you look up and realize just how inspiring this life can be. Arrive and awaken your heart. Explore life in ways only thought possible in your dreams. Discover just how far you'll go to expand your understanding of life's greatest mysteries. There's just one place on this planet with so much to offer. Now is the time for you to have the royal experience in the kingdom.
Now we'll come back to the program. It's time for the news at 7. The Deputy Prime Minister, Honorable Thuli Ladla, says government is working tirelessly to close existing societal gaps which leave women and the youth in developmental and economic disadvantage in the country. The Deputy Prime Minister said this during the signing ceremony of financial agreements for projects that will be implemented by government and non-governmental organizations. The ceremony was signed at Eswatini College of Technology, and the agreement is set to the tune of 557 million emalangeni.
It is unfortunate, Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, that women and youth are a greater percentage of the national development of the national population, with 52% women and 79% youth. However, these groups remain the most underrepresented of the population in both economic and political sector. pervasive unemployment, underemployment, and longer school to work transitions are some of the most significant challenges experienced by women and the youth population.
The European Union ambassador to the Kingdom of Eswatini, Her Excellency Desislava Chomelova, says through consultations, they deemed it fit to support programs that are aimed at human development and social inclusion to empower women, youth, and other vulnerable groups with, amongst other things, market-driven vocational education and training. Her Excellency says this would enable them to be employable and also start their own businesses.
The EU unwaveringly supports Eswatini to achieve these major goals. Our cooperation is mainly channeled through our programs in the country, implemented by various international, UN, and local organizations, and these programs are always very much aligned with the National Development Plan and the Agenda 2030 for Sustainable Development.
The Deputy Prime Minister, Honorable Thuli Dladla, was together with the Minister of Economic Planning and Development, Honorable Dr. Tambo Gina, and Minister of Education and Training, Honorable Owen Nxumalo, whilst non-governmental organizations were represented by the Director of the Coordinating Assembly of Non-Governmental Organizations, Thembinkosi Dlamini. Reporting for Eswatini TV, I am Mbongwa Dube with Vuminkosi Nzinisa in Babane.
Over 7,193 Emaswati from 6,426 households were affected by the heavy rains and hailstorms that hit the country in December 2023 and 2 hailstorms that hit the Manzini and the Shiselweni in the beginning of this month. The Deputy Prime Minister, Kusile Dladla, says from the December 8th devastating hailstorm, which caused extensive damage of about 6,521 individuals, have been provided immediate relief with the collaboration of the National Disaster Management Agency, Bapalali Eswatini Red Cross Society, as well as World Vision Eswatini.
The assessment revealed that the storm affected 6,298 households, 78 businesses, and 27 educational facilities. However, 53 injuries were reported and 14 individuals were temporarily displaced. As of January the 22nd of 2024, the NDMA has assisted 684 people through the rehabilitation of 114 houses that were damaged by the hailstorm. On January the 11th, the Kingdom of Eswatini was once again severely impacted by a storm event within the Manzini region, experiencing the worst of its effects. Initial rapid assessments revealed that the storm severely affected 349 individuals from 57 homesteads. The following day, January the 12th, another storm event hit the Shiselweni region. Preliminary rapid assessment results indicate that a total of 323 individuals from 71 households were severely impacted by the storm. The NDMA is responding to the affected communities, working with the Inkundla Council and community-level structures.
Mafutseni Member of Parliament Sabelo Mtsetwa appreciates the government for assisting some of the affected individuals.
All Emaswati who were affected by the storm will eventually get assistance. I plead for patience from those who are still waiting for the government to assist. I understand their situation. They have been without shelter over their heads for quite some time now, but I can promise them that something is being done. I appreciate His Majesty King Mswati III for assisting Emaswati.
Some of the immediate relief includes 1,300 tarpaulins and 5 tents offering temporary shelter to those affected. The storms caused significant damage to homes, furniture, motor vehicles, businesses, and adversely affected critical structures as schools and healthcare facilities. For Eswatini TV News, Fortune Dlangamandla, Uthemba Shabangu Mbabane.
The Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs, Prince Simelane, has toured His Majesty's Correctional Services Centre in Nhlangano and the Nhlangano Magistrate Court to familiarise himself with the operations of both institutions. Now, the Minister has noted that the Nhlangano Correctional Services Centre has surpassed its maximum inmate capacity.
The Minister began his tour at Nhlangano Correctional Services Centre, where prominent arrest includes, among others, theft-related cases amounting to 41%, followed by SOTV cases making up 14%. The Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs, Honorable Prince Simelane, says he has discovered that the current number of inmates are way beyond the maximum capacity of the Correctional Services Centre.
Sesibonile inkinga talapha bongosi siphinde sinikhalele ukuthi hey buqala bongosi eveni indlela nani nisebenza kusuku anilali solontikati indzaba buqala le asibuya khona nje correctional labantu sebaningi kakhulu kule nombolo efanele igcino.
The Minister of Justice was then led to Nhlangano Magistrate Court, where he was notified by the Senior Magistrate Joseph Dlamini that they received an order from the Municipal Council last year to shut down operations because the building is now a health hazard to both workers and the public.
Kepha lokuthi esibonele kona bongosi akusiko ukuthi umthoyi lokubaluleke kangaka emhlabeni eveni kube bethu umthoyi ukuthi lesive ekani yini cha ngithemba ukuthi ne portfolio styletha mhlawumbe ukuthi mathute esitobona iba nawo nayo emandla ukuthi ibone nayo ukuthi sibamba sithini.
As per designs, the maximum inmate capacity at Nhlangano Correctional Services Centre totals to 200 inmates. However, the centre currently has 352 inmates. Reporting for Eswatini TV News, I'm Thando Mdluli, Nhlangano.
Preparations for the inauguration of the first session of the 12th Parliament is underway, where His Majesty King Mswati III is expected to officially open Parliament. Clerk to Parliament Benedict Xaba says starting from today, or rather starting from yesterday, stakeholders will have state opening meetings every Wednesday of the week until Parliament is officially open.
On Wednesday, different stakeholders, including government ministries and departments which are critical in the official opening of Eswatini Parliament, met with an intention to ensure that this national event becomes successful. Clerk to Parliament Benedict Xaba elaborates.
We are aware that this is the first session of the 12th Parliament, which is very, very important for the country, so as it gives a policy direction. So I can say that as Parliament internally, we have done preparation. I would say that we are already at 80% at this stage, so now we're getting inputs from other stakeholders. So we shall be continuing with these preparations for every Wednesday, but the public will be informed where we shall have a full briefing or a press release on the logistics of the day of the state opening and other things that will be done during the state opening. So this is a very, very important national event. As you know, that Parliament is the heart of the nation. So we are going to give our best to ensure that this one is better than the state opening of last year.
During the meeting, the stakeholders involved emphasized on the importance of communication during the planning stage in order to ensure a smooth national event. For Eswatini TV News, Fortune Dlangamandla, Uthemba Shabangu, Parliament.
The Teaching Service Commission is currently renewing contracts of 1,286 teachers. Now, the Commission's Executive Secretary, Nhlanhla Dlamini, says by the end of this week, the process will have been completed.
Towards the close of last year, government authorized the employment of 90 deputy head teachers, and the commission is seized with interviewing those deputies for both primary schools and high schools. Some of them are already already at school, working as we speak. Now, we are also excited that now government has authorized the renewal of about 1,286 contract teachers. The commission at the moment is working on those teachers so that come Friday and Monday next week, those teachers will be posted in all the different schools that we have in the country.
About 35 mango farmers have registered under the Eswatini Horticulture Information System, which is administered by the National Agricultural Marketing Board, NAMBOD. This was revealed by the Chief Executive Officer of NAMBOD, Begizwe Mazia, during a workshop which was held at the George Hotel in Manzini, where small and medium mango farmers were in attendance. Now, the aim of the workshop was to ascertain the amount of mango farmers produce annually, the kind of assistance they need, networking, as well as securing sustainable markets for them.
Presentations, contributions, suggestions have not gone into waste.
The submissions you have made here today will be taken seriously, and relevant structures will work on them with the aim of addressing all the issues, starting with the quick wins. It is clear to all that the registration of farmers under the AHIS program helps us identify farmers, their geographic location, the amount and type of produce they have, which is why we plead with those yet to register to do so.
Welcome back. Let's focus on international news. Russia has accused Ukraine of shooting down a military plane, which it said was carrying 65 Ukrainian soldiers said to be freed in a prisoner swap. Now, the Il-76 plane was traveling from an airbase near Moscow to the border city of Belgorod when it was struck by anti-aircraft missiles, killing all on board. This was said by the Defense Ministry.
Videos posted on social media Wednesday morning show a large plane falling from the sky and crashing in a fireball in Russia near the Ukraine border. The Russian Defense Ministry said one of its Il-76 military transport planes had crashed. It said the plane had been carrying 65 captured Ukrainian soldiers intended for a prisoner swap. The governor of the Belgorod region said there were no survivors. Members of the Russian parliament were quick to blame Ukraine, which they said shot down the plane with Western-supplied missiles.
They shot at their own soldiers in the air, their own soldiers. Their mothers, their wives, and children were waiting for them back home.
Ukrainian media initially cited sources in the Ukrainian military as saying they did in fact shoot down the plane, but that it was transporting missiles instead of prisoners of war. That claim was later retracted. The deaths of prisoners of war is sensitive in both Russia and Ukraine. In 2022, deadly bombardments hit a Russian-controlled jail holding dozens of captured Ukrainian troops in eastern Ukraine's Donetsk region. Russia and Ukraine blamed each other for the incident, which President Volodymyr Zelensky called a Russian war crime.
Overnight, U.S. strikes on Iraqi militant groups that are part of the country's formal security forces showed clear determination to harm security and stability in Iraq. A spokesperson from Iraq's Prime Minister Mohammed Shia al-Sudani said this on Wednesday.
The US has justified the strikes on both Yemen and Iraq as a response to a series of attacks against US personnel since the Israel-Hamas war began. Washington's been trying to keep the war from spilling over into a wider conflict, but Iraq says the US's actions are having an adverse effect. Prime Minister Mohammed Shia al-Sudani called the strikes on Iraqi territory an unacceptable act undermining years of cooperation, blatantly violating Iraq's sovereignty and contributing to an irresponsible escalation. Iraq's national security advisor told the US to focus on pressuring Israel to stop its offensive in Gaza instead, while the spokesperson for Iraq's military declared it would treat these operations as acts of aggression and take necessary actions to preserve the lives and dignities of Iraqis on their land. The US airstrikes hit in the areas of Juf al-Saqqa and al-Qaim. targeting 3 facilities used by Iranian-backed militia groups, according to Pentagon Chief Lloyd Austin, as a direct response to a series of escalatory attacks against US and coalition personnel in Iraq. There are roughly 2,500 US troops in Iraq, who coordinate operations with Iraqi security forces to counter the Islamic State group. Iraq accuses the US of overstepping its mission and has demanded its withdrawal.
Israeli forces battled Palestinian militants on Wednesday in Gaza's second largest city of Khan Yunis, including outside the city's 2 main hospitals, as the United Nations raised concern for those seeking treatment with no way in or out.
It's Israel's biggest operation in a month. Footage released by the Israeli army shows them pressing on in Khan Yunis, which they say is a significant Hamas stronghold and now surrounded. The Israeli military spokesperson said they'd killed more than 100 militants in the west of the city in 24 hours.
Our forces are continuing a broad attack on West Khan Yunis, one of the significant centers of gravity of Hamas. This is a very complex, densely populated area with many Hamas terrorists hiding in the area in sensitive facilities.
Hundreds of thousands of people are sheltering in Khan Yunis, threatened by the escalating hostilities. On Tuesday, Israeli tanks shut the road from the city to the Mediterranean coast, blocking the escape route for civilians trying to reach Rafah on the southern edge of Gaza. The Palestinian Red Crescent reported dozens of people killed, including displaced women and children, while fighting raged around the 2 main hospitals, with UN humanitarians expressing concern for those seeking treatment with no way in or out. Elsewhere in Gaza, Israeli Chief of Staff Herzi Halevi visited troops near the site where 21 reservists were killed by a militant attack on Monday.
On this difficult day, it is important to mention that we have been fighting for 108 consecutive days and will not forget October 7th, and not forget why we went to war.
3 other soldiers were also killed that day, the deadliest for Israeli forces since the war began.
Israel has proposed to Hamas via Qatari and Egyptian mediators a pause in fighting of up to 2 months as part of a deal to free all the hostages being held in Gaza. The United States news site Axios reported this week.
2 months after a fragile 7-day truce in Gaza, another agreement between Israel and Hamas could be in the works. U.S. top Middle East advisor Brett McGurk was in Cairo on Tuesday to hold fresh talks with Egypt and Qatar over a potential new hostage and ceasefire deal.
I wouldn't even classify them as negotiations quite at this point, but ongoing discussions with counterparts about what's in the realm of the possible here to get these hostages out.
McGurk's visit came amid media reports of a new Israeli ceasefire proposal. Diplomatic sources say Israel is ready to accept a 2-month pause in the fighting in exchange for the release of all remaining hostages held by Hamas. It also offered to free some Palestinian prisoners and to allow Hamas leaders to relocate abroad, but early reports suggest the Palestinian group has rejected the deal.
They want a permanent halt to the fighting. They want guarantees that Israel will remove its troops completely out of Gaza. And Hamas's leaders do not want to leave Gaza. They want assurances that they can remain after the fighting ends.
The latest Israeli proposal came amid mounting domestic pressure on Netanyahu's government to secure the release of the remaining hostages. The U.S. said Tuesday it believed over 100 Israelis were still being held by Hamas.
Ecuador's journalists are focusing on personal safety after a prosecutor investigating an armed raid on a TV station was killed amid a wave of violence sweeping the country. There's a report.
Police cordoned off a road in the city of Guayaquil, Ecuador last week after the killing of Cesar Suarez. The prosecutor who had been investigating an armed raid on a TV station became yet another victim in the crime wave sweeping Ecuador. The shooting has served to strengthen the resolve of authorities to investigate both the killing of Suarez and the raid on the public broadcaster, TC Television, says Attorney General Diana Salazar Mendez.
Organized crime groups, criminals, and terrorists will not stop our commitment to Ecuadorian society. We will continue with more strength and commitment.
A live broadcast by TC Television captured the moment gunmen raided the station and threatened its staff. 13 suspects have since been detained. Newly elected President Daniel Noboa visited the television station.
I'm here to see the people who were victims of a terrorist attack, who work for state-owned media.
Noboa declared Ecuador to be in an internal armed conflict and imposed a state of emergency amid the rise in crime and recent escape from prison of gang leader José Adolfo Macías Villamar. It's a situation that has journalists across Ecuador rethinking safety, with some now wearing bulletproof vests on assignment. Newsrooms are also re-evaluating how to respond during an attack like the one on TC Television. At radio station HCJB, the voice of the Andes, staff say the raid made them re-evaluate how to safely and accurately report the news.
The first decision we had to make was to see if it was safer to work from home or from the radio station. Due to safety reasons, we decided to split the team. Then, during breaking news, we weigh in on the content and events and keep reporting.
Media analysts are taken aback by the rise in violence across the country, including assaults directed at journalists.
It is a very tense situation, and this means a wake-up call for other journalists who investigate and are doing their job accordingly. Drug trafficking leaders, they don't want this to happen.
As authorities investigate, journalists and media advocates are starting conversations about measures to protect staff, like those already in place in countries such as Mexico and Argentina.
There were nearly 5,000 homicides counted in Haiti last year, more than double than in 2022. United Nations report said this week as the country endures rampant gang violence amid the near collapse of its political institutions.
Haiti's gang wars are only getting worse, and local people are at their wits' end.
The entire republic must rise to make Prime Minister Ariel Henry respond. We can no longer stand this insecurity.
A UN report has found that homicides more than doubled last year, while the number of kidnappings rose by more than 80% as the violence spread from the capital into rural areas.
Gang killings, kidnappings, and sexual violence, notably against women and young girls, continue with widespread impunity.
1 in 10 police stations nationwide were attacked last year, and sexual violence was used systematically as gangs consolidated their control. Thousands of police officers have quit, leaving less than 10,000 active at any one time for a country of more than 11 million people. And there are few ways to flee. Neighboring Dominican Republic has tightened its borders, forcibly repatriating around 200,000 Haitians last year. Insecurity was exacerbated by the assassination of President Jovenel Moïse in 2021. No elections have taken place since 2016, and the presidency remains vacant. Kenya has agreed to lead a UN-approved police corps to help Haiti's overwhelmed security forces, but the mission has been delayed amid a legal challenge by Kenyan opposition.
Donald Trump won the key New Hampshire primary on Tuesday, moving him ever closer to locking in the Republican presidential nomination, as well as securing an extraordinary White House rematch with Joe Biden. However, Trump's only remaining Republican adversary, Nikki Haley, says the primary is far from over.
Donald Trump's grip on securing the Republican Party's presidential nomination has tightened. Tuesday evening, the former president of the U.S. beat his only remaining rival, Nikki Haley, in New Hampshire's primary in a comfortable victory, despite the state's reputation for moderate and independent voters.
This is an evening that I will not forget. When you win Iowa and you win New Hampshire, they've never had a loss. There's never been. So we're not going to be the first, I can tell you. And I just do want to reiterate the polls. We're way up on everybody. We're way up on Biden.
This is Trump's second victory in the campaign after winning Iowa last week. All Republican Party candidates have withdrawn from the race, except for Nikki Haley, former UN ambassador, who is confident she can beat the odds.
Now, you've all heard the chatter among the political class. They're falling all over themselves, saying this race is over. Well, I have news for all of them. New Hampshire is first in the nation. It is not the last in the nation. This race is far from over. There are dozens of states left to go.
The campaign will continue in Nevada and South Carolina in February. Haley will not compete in Nevada as she says that the rules there are too much in favor of Trump. The former governor of South Carolina is instead pinning her hopes on a home state win. But polls are showing that Trump is incredibly popular in the conservative state and is already 30 points ahead of Nikki Haley.
Argentine President Javier Milei faces the first major challenge to his budget-slashing policies as workers are expected to down tools in their thousands and take to the streets in protest. There's a report.
Just 45 days after he took office, Javier Milei is set to face a mass strike against his policies of deregulation and economic reform. A strike called by Argentina's largest union.
We're going to hold a strike. Because if they give all of public power to a president for 2 years and he can renew it for another 2 years, we'll be facing a situation where a president is going to have the sum of public power during his entire mandate. The institutions will not be respected and nothing will be respected.
The union, which has some 7 million members, fears that Milei's reforms will leave many Argentinians poorer and vulnerable to exploitation. The president announced a set of sweeping reforms shortly after coming to power. They include cuts to worker protections, abolishing a price ceiling on rent, and lifting price controls on certain consumer goods. Milei also sent a wide-ranging bill to Congress, which includes measures to privatize state companies. The strike comes a day after protesters gathered outside Milei's residence, demanding more state aid.
Food is not arriving in the soup kitchens due to the austerity measures, economic crisis, and the reduction of public expenditure by this government. This is leading many families to come to the soup kitchens to be able to get food.
The indiscriminate and criminal increase in food prices allowed by the government with the elimination of all price regulations makes the situation in community kitchens increasingly serious.
Both the bill and decree are being reviewed by Congress. More than 40% of Argentinians live in poverty, and the country is grappling with annual inflation standing at more than 200%, following decades of financial mismanagement.
The United States Secretary of State Antony Blinken said the United States would provide an additional $45 million to West African nations as part of a plan to battle instability. Now, Blinken is in the middle of a four-nation tour of the region and Tuesday met with the presidents of Nigeria as well as Ivory Coast.
A second stop of a four-nation swing in Africa. Top of the agenda on Antony Blinken's talks with President Alassane Ouattara, security and stability. The U.S. Secretary of State praised Ivory Coast's efforts against jihadist threats in the Sahel, pledging additional funding for the country.
We're announcing $45 billion in new funding through the U.S. strategy to prevent conflict and promote stability for coastal West African states. And we're also working to bolster Côte d'Ivoire's security capacity. There's been a increase in training multiplied 15 times, training equipment for the military just over the last year. We're expanding civilian forces investment as well.
The funding will be in addition to the $300 million the U.S. has already invested in West African security over the past 2 years. But security is not the only issue on the table. The U.S. is seeking to bolster partnerships with the continent on numerous fronts, including trade, climate, infrastructure and health. Washington says it remains intent on forging a united front with key African democracies, which not only hold vast economic potential, but are also a locus of great power competition with China and Russia.
And now on sports news, Manzini Wanderers Football Club captain Mlamuli Nkambule says as players they are still putting in endless effort in trying to fight for the team and avoid relegation. Nkambule says senior players have got to lead by example and bring back smiles on the supporters' faces.
They're working very hard for training.
Manzini Wanderers captain Mlamuli Mlaba Nkambule says despite the current situation of the team, where they are struggling in the league and are already out of the Ngwenyama Cup, the team has been working hard daily in training session, where they train every day to try and bring back smiles on the supporters' faces. Mlaba says they do not want a repetition of last season when they nearly got relegated. He says senior players within the team have got a bigger role to play to ensure that the team does not get relegated this current season.
Let's look at our today's weather forecast and go for a net break. When we return, Lungalele speaks to our second guest of the day.
Hello everyone and welcome to the show. You know the vibes, it's the beat down. The time is 8 p.m. It's time for you to relax, sit back, relax, and enjoy the music videos that I got for you.
Moving no direction, like it's a calling. Been alive in the middle of nowhere. Shake the ground and burn the air. So yeah, yeah. You don't have to hold back for anything or anyone. Just on this.
Welcome back. Sakuvusela nalo sanza kusivulela besivedile masingene ehlelweni ukuthi sitabe sikhuluma kabanti ngebantfwana labathi inhloko demakhaya ama child headed families naye lapha disaster manager ehofisini leliphini landvuna ngikhuluma kezandile mavuso kuva kabanti nje ngenhlala kahle yabo bantfwana labathi inhloko temindeni lapha Eswatini nebulukhuni labahlangabetana nabo nokuthi ngabe ihofisi la DPM ngabe libasita kanjani labo bantfwana kakhulu kanyalo nje lokusakhumula ukuthi ikolo setivulile ngabe vele mhlambe ikhona indlela yabakubonelela ukuthi nabo bayenele kusasa lelichakazile sivusele amavuso sebangusube nathi namhla ekseni kumbe kuva nje ukuthi siyathi ukuthi inkinga yama child headed households akusinkinga lapha Eswatini kuphela kepha nje Africa wonke obhekene nayo lena inkinga. What are the factors mhlambe la holela ekuthenini banifana sebathi khanze seba tinhloko temindeni?
Ngivusele msakati ngivusele nebabukeli behlelo. Sive semaswati vele sibhekene nayo le ngcinamba yalabantwana umuntu bekangacabanga nje ukuthi singemaswati satikwe ukuthi kuba bede intsandzane ngoba tihlobo dibese tiyayifukamela but ke ezisisebenta siyakhanza lokwekuthi kukhala libhungane kunemfana nje uyadidlalela labaleni ucabange ukuthi kumbe batali kukhona labasabheke khona kanti baphelele nje labantwana. So sinabo labantwana babangwe indlela letehlukene sibe nawo ema-pandemics bo HIV kwafika nane COVID naletinye tehlakalo njengoba simbonile DPM lokhona ayohlola labanye balabantwana libabangwe ngiletinye timo lesibanato eveni tinengi leti zathu letenda abantwana basale bangabodwa nalokusala bangabodwa ke kungilokwe ukuthi imindeni yabo le extended family noma lolusendvo nalo luswelele lingathi nalibathatha litaseli bathini. So khanza kwekuthi noma khona lebabaniketa kona babaniketa khona lapha ekhaya lebalishiyelwa abadali babo. So akhona lawo makhaya abangwangilitoti zathu leto.
So wani vele nisebenza ngabo labantwana ungathi mhlambe the youngest ngulonganane nje lesingathi vele sawuheda le family and the oldest kuba ngulonganane nje.
Kulohlelo siyabathatha laba seba youth lebafika kubo 25 years. But lo munye uyamkhanza kwekuthi una 11 years umfana but nguye lesekabukele likhaya. Lo khanza kwekuthi noma sithi sibaniketa lolusito lolona 11 years akakhona lokuthi angalwendane. Siyabese siyancusa kubomakhelwane ukuthi silesele umfana lolusito sicela nimbonise. Lokunye kuba nalama volunteer aka NDMA ma volunteer aka Red Cross nanawo siyawacela ukuthi nalusito silethelele umfana sicela nisipheleliso ngoba ni la emphakathini. So bamfana liba suka bo 11 years uyamkhanza umfana so ubonele likhaya.
As young as 11 years ingabe baphephile invele kuba bede in ma dangers baba exposed kiwe especially nangabe nje lo mfana imfombatana mhlambe bomakhelwane sebevanga zothi bangamhlukubeda ngandlela thide ngekweligcansi ingabe vele kuba khona lokuphepha lokho ngikubambisana of course nabo bomakhelwane.
Kude kahle hle kuphepha kude kuphepha lokutheni lokukhona kulabo bantwana labanye nje ukhanza kwekuthi umfana asase primary so vele unemfana naye lakhaya sebahlupheka babili sebantwana bayabonana lokhomba ukuthi longena kuyatingenela ashiye lokho leka kushiyako kuchubeke lenhlupheko yalomfana dinengileti ingcinamba lebanato letinye nje tingcinamba kuba ngilokwe ukuthi noma ngabe bayafunza ke ukhanza kwekuthi bayacacametela but sekude ke lo mthopha phelako ngoba vele uhulumende akabasiti ngalokuphelele. So dinengi leti kuba nabo teenage pregnancy lesibakhanzako labanye sebacale kuyothengisa nangemtimba yonke lemvo leyo labanye ke vele sebangenele igenge ledlabo ma drugs nako konke naye kube bantfu ke lesebalikhaya lako lebahlabuya ke ekhaya but nje vele ba exposed ingotini letinengi.
Ingabe nje obushido nje maka mavuso ukuthi some of them are as young as 11 years old baba niyakhona ukuba mhlambe kuba advisor ukubabonisa ngetindzaba ukuthi nabanje atawunakeke labamfa bakubo labancane labasathinga mhlambe bo vaccination ukuthi njalo mhlambe emva kwesikhathi esingaka kumele esibhedlela yojovela nako kukhona yini lokho kubambisana mhlambe nalo litiko letempilo ukuthi babatshengise baba guide ukuthi bente kanjani betenini emtholampilo.
Kuliqiniso lokho msakati ngoba akusilo liphini landvuna nkulu kuphela lovisi lelibukele tindzaba talabantwana kunetinhlangano letisita hulumende netinhlangano ke tahulumende lamanye ama sectors nawo lekana lesaye yayo kusita labantwana lokukhulu nje lesingakusho bakhona bacocuteli ngibo lebasihambele embili ukuthi nabaya labantwana noma sebaka health bafuna kutohlola tekuvikela ukuthi bajovile yini bayawati lamakhaya bacocuteli kanye ke nema committee entuthuko emangweni akungenwa through wona nawo bayabati labantwana lo lethal sito bayamkhombisa ukuthi kunana lelikhaya naliya kunana lelikhaya naliya so kuba nalokusebenzisana tinhlangano bo World Vision bo SOS babese bayangenelela sebenta ingcenye yabo kulabo bantwana ngoba bayatiwa lamangweni.
So nini ezinje the DPM's office nini ngiliphi sitolo nibanika lona labamfana ngoba siyatuke nokuthi vele niyazama kwathatha labanye mhlambe nebabeke kwa safe houses but ngeni khona kwathatha bonke but particularly laba kuba yini vele kahle nje nibanika sito ngakho.
lesibaniketa lisito ngako ngoba siyakholelwa ekuthenini umfana akasitelwe enzaweni yakubo mangabe kungakhona aphile nje la emphakathi. So indlela lesibasita ngayo ngoba le lovisi le tehlakalo libuka ukuthi itehlakalo tishaya baphi bantu kakhulu. Labo bantu labo singabasita kanjani kwekuthi uma ngabe kunesehlakalo nabo babe nendlela yokuthi bangakhona ukutisita. So le lovisi eliphindla mvunankulu lithi tenge kubona leti nombolo talabantwana tibange kukhula lase livula luhlelo licalisa luhlelo lekwekuthi libasite lo hlelo ke lekwekuthi sibone ukuthi labantwana bashiwe nemasimu banenzawo yakubo singete sabalimela yini sacala nje ngalesikhathi basitshela lebabuka litulu ukuthi kulomnyaka kutawuba nelitulu sacala ke kubalimela abantwana sabuta nina wemasimo ekhaya nanka saqala ke ukuthi hawu nabo makhelwane babona ukuthi hawu nasi sikhulumba singena lapha ekhaya kade sagcina sabalimela abantwana sibalimela umbila sibalimela emabhontshisi bese senda nengadze le batawukhona ukuthi bahle bacitha khona bathele mandi bakhone ukuthi batawuthola umshibo khona lokunye onke lamakhaya senda ukuthi kube netihlahla tetithelo ngilo lo lisito lesibaniketa lo
baba kunakekela yini mhlambe lokho labakulimako benesiqiniseko sokuthi bayavuna futhi noma nje mhlambe nje bayekelela nitfolani mhlambe nanilandzelela as ma-officers
ezisilandzelela kuyakhuthata kakhulu ukuthi labanye balabantwana bayalijabulela lolu sito lomnye wakhuluma aze akhala athi hey umbila usivumile sesitawumane sibone sicacametele kuthi sesishiba ngani but lo senisisite ngalokho kwempuphu ingcinamba yethu seyincane kakhulu but lokunye lesikhanza ukuthi ikakhulu kulaba labancane ukhanza kwekuthi silethile lo lisito masithi siyabuya sitohlola ukuthi ingabe umbila sowukhule kanganani ukhanze kwekuthi encenye sekungena etinkomo encenye abakafaki emakhabeni tonke leto tingcinamba tiba khona but nje liningi lalabantwana liyasikhutsata ukuthi ukhanza banesivuno lesinjengala labanye leba ngemakhaya lekane bantu labadzala so kuyashiyana nje lo munye umfana ngaloko ukuthi vele nakahambile na aye esikolweni kude lesekataamkhiphela timbuti letingena ensimini so kuba ngileto tingcinamba leto
so nyalo nje lokuvula itikolo abenda kanjani bayakhona yini esikolweni ngoba sitawati ukuthi kulabo nje labase primary elisibona bayakhona kwesikolweni ngaye free primary education mhlambe lelo high school sangabe netinginganyana benda kanjani nyalo kukhona inhlelo lapho nibabambisa khona ukuthi vele bagcina bafikile esikolweni
bayakhona ke esikolweni babese babanjwa ke ukuthi sebabanjelwe ama results ngoba bakayingedi imali le yangetulu uhulumende vele uyababhadalela bonke labo bantwana vele senda siciniseke ukuthi sibatholile lapha sithole bangasayina sesikolweni sibathathwe babuyiselwe esikolweni kukhulunywe nabo headmaster ukuthi abababeketelele lokunye ke lesi bese kuba ngazuthi ngumnyangwana lo sisitako kunanhlangano lesita uhulumende leti inhlangano sitikhombile labantwana akuthi nangumfana so uthi top up labanye ke bakhona kuthola lolo sito but liningi labo bagcine bahlele ekhaya ngesikhathi isikolo sesithi letha imali lo igwenedako so ude umfana lokusho kwekuthi vele ngetemfundo bayakhinyabeteka basalela emuva
so kusho ukuthi vele ukuthi kumele ukuthi bothishela ba-understand labo principal ba-understand mhlambe bathole nalelo sito kubomakhelwane nasemangweni sifuna kuva nje lokuthi ingabe kube khona ma-success stories emphana lo beyinhloko yemndeni wakubo lase aphumelele wayetheshaya wayofundzela nyalo so yasebenza neyithola yini lemibiko leyo nje
ngiyabonga kakhulu Msadi kulolu hlelo ngoba nje luneminyaka lemithathu luqalile so labamfana labo sisabalanzelela but labamfana lebasitwa nguhulumende levele lebatinsanzane labanye babo vele bangenile kuma tertiary institutions akhona lawo ma success stories labanye ke bathola nematoho labanye sathi siyafika bathi hayi sebamthatha lona usemasotsheni Sabona ke ukuthi lelikhaya selitawuguquka libe ngcono. Kukhona lawo ma success stories. Lokunye lengakuphawula nje msakadi ukuthi liPhinland Vunankulu lesinalo nyalo lisuke nje umkhankaso wekuthi lifuna kuyongconcothela tindzawo lapho kuthathwa khona bantfana kwekuthi banikete scholarship nalapho baniketwa khona imisebenzi kuthi sicela inombolo lethide nithathe kibo labantfana kusathi nje kwekuthi labantfana lebahlala ngabodwa labangaka basitholile scholarship labangaka bangenile emaphoyiseni uzama info le kanjalo ukuthi sitoba nesiciniseko ukuthi bayaphuma kule nhlupheko ngoba sekukhona lesekasebenza.
Ushito mavuso ukuthi ama-factors laholela ekutheni bathi khanzisa bahlala bodwa lindzaba COVID-19, HIV and AIDS nokuthi batali babo babashiye. But in some cases khanze ukuthi umntali usuka avenishe nje anyamalala bashiye bantwana. So kuyenteka yini ukuthi mhlambe nanilandzelela nema-investigations enu nigcineni batfolile labo batali labo babuye batawunakekela bamfa babo?
Kuyenteka msakati lokunye lokwenteka lako ngulokuthi labatali beva ngabomakhelwane beve ukuthi lapha yana bamfana sebahanjelwa nguhulumende bese vumbu umntali so uyavela so yabona ukuthi sekukhona lokuvelako ekhaya nalabanye lokwenza ukuthi labamfana labadzadlana incenye babhunguka bangeva lokuthi sekukhona uhulumende lekakwenda kwekhaya la kubo ngoba labanye bantfana ukhanza ukuthi yindlu elidzaka iyanetha itshekile seyicishe kubagcoba ukhanze ukuthi sesiyamakhela lo mfana hawu sebayabuya nalaba lebanyamalala so sekuyavela netihlobo kuyenteka into le kanjalo.
So bese kuba yini ngeliswathi lakhe leyo mdali loyo ngoba phela unyamalile washiya abantwana so mshiyeta nje ntahulumende setindleko tahulumende ubese uthathela wadiphi ke tinyathelo leyo mdali loyo?
Kude tinyathelo letitheni kuba ngona lokumkhutsata nje ngoba naye suka balekelele responsibility lekangayikhona so kuba ngona lokumkhutsata ukuthi hulumende so uyamsita umfana nawe salubonakala kukhona lokwentako ngoba vele labanye akusibo kwekuthi bathi ntsandzane labatali abekho yini bayaphila abatali bashiya nje babhunguka.
So nasibuka nje mhlambe eminyakeni le endlulile kuze kube nginyalo nje make mavuso lelinani labamfana labathi inhloko temindeni liyanza invele linganani nje lasifotela?
Ngicabanga kwekuthi sitawuthola lucwaningo lendako hulumende baka statistics nase benda i-census ngilapho la sitawubona khona kwekuthi labantwana lebasele ngabodwa babakhanze banganani ngale kwaloko phambilini lesolo siyibambile lebalwenda lolo cwaningo bantwana lebangu 1800 yes lamakhaya angu 1800 but ithine sisita 650 kwanyalo lesikhonye nje kufinyelela kibo ngalolu sito lo
kulohlelo lokuba niketa ama-farm inputs. Okay. So ingabe nje mhlambe kuletinye inkinga nje labahlangabetana nato kuba yini because ushuto ukuthi baba export timfani letiningi mhlambe kukhona maybe kunetfolile ukuthi kuleli khaya leli mhlambe sekubike ukuthi kukhona umfana losagagadlelwe ingabe lo mfana loyo nasibuka nje indzaba ye-treatment naba counseling niyamhambisa intongo letigaba ukuthi okay so hlubetekiwe hamba esibhedlela yohlola yoniketwa ne-counseling ukuthi atawuba kahle emoyeni?
Yes ngoba siyabonga kakhulu kuloyo mbuto litiko leliPhinland Vunankulu linalo hlangothi la ka social welfare lolibuke tona vele leto tindzaba so siba nabo laba ka social welfare sisho ukuthi kuleli khaya leli sekungangani sikhanze simo lesikanje ukhanze kwekuthi lo mfana vele lo muntu leka sekamgagadlele ngumuntu lomdzala encenye waze wathola nani mfana lesinye isikhathi sihlobo tonke leto tindzaba leto bese sithula ka social welfare sebayabona ke bosonhlala kahle bayayilandzelela baze bafika ekugcineni ukhona nje lo mfana lekayiyekeliswa isikolwa ngekwekuthi so utholiswe umfana ngumuntu losihlobo sakhona kuthatha lo mfana siyomcelela ka SOS loliswane yena umfana samcelela ukuthi abuyele esikolweni but kukhona letinto leto letendiwa tihlobo lokunye lokwentiwa tihlobo ngilokwekuthi ukhanza kwekuthi tithatha lamasimo alabantwana sebayatilimela abo lamasimu kanti alabatali labantwana lebashona. So tonke leto tindzaba leto sibese sesitiyisa emphakathi ukuthi umphakathi uchubeke utikhulumise leto tindzaba.
Uteke nje utsinda indzaba yema social welfare. I think nengi nje imisebenzi labayenda komake mavuso nakhona nje indzaba ukuthi bathole bantwana lasebalahliwe latigangeni nalabo baba khona inombolo yabo isetulu. Ngabe vele mhlambe nakhona leyo kuba inkinga lenganani nje baseta kanjani labo ihhovisi ka DPM.
Yebo msakati lihhovisi la ka DPM liyabathatha labo bantwana manje ngesikwakhona kwekuthi bantwana lebalahliwe babe kuthi bahlala sikhashana noma ukhanze ukuthi umntwana lenhlalo yale khaya isikahle so uyaphephiswa lokuyobekwa kule khaya lebantwana but ukhanza kwekuthi sebahlala umphelane bakhulela khona iba yinkulu lengcinamba yalendzawo yalokubeka labantwana labanye ke bese bayakhona ukuthi bathole kubo SOS bathole nakuletinye tindzawo lesetinawo lamakhaya but lesidingo sikhulu abakhonakali kuthatheka bonke
nibagcina la kulama safe houses labanye bayakhona kubuda nje mavuso ukuthi ngabe mhlawumbe inhlangano noma umndeni ofisa kusita laba bantwana laba uyakhona nechumana nani mhlawumbe kube khona lolu sito lathumela kuleyo mndeni.
Yes kuneluhlelo le foster care lapho uhulumende lungisa lolo hlelo selukhona nje sekukhona imindeni lebathethe labo bantwana kusho ukuthi akubi yi-adoption kuba kwekuthi ngivuma kusita labantwana laba lebahluphekile yes kwesikhashana babasite bababhadalele esikolweni bayabakhulisa bayabafundzisa impilo babe nje bathathe le role yekuba ngumtali noma bakwenda lokho nje sive semaswati kepha vele siyacela kwekuthi tinhlangano nemasonto lebadutane nalabo bantwana sivele nje sihlaba inyanza leyo kwekuthi mani bathi labo bantwana basiteni phela nibaphe kwekudla nibone ukuthi nabo bayawufunza nabo bayothi sebabadzala bathi kwekuthi emangweni bekunelisonto la ngisita ngathuthuka ngaba kanjena kushiso ngilokwe ukuthi akhona lamasonto lothi yababuta abantwana ukuthi ufunza kanjani athi ngisitwa lisonto lekwekuthi ngilo lelingibhadalela le top up malo moya lonjalo siyawukhuthata naku lamanye amasonto ukuthi akachubeke abasite labantwana.
So kulehlelo le foster care ulesikhashana lohlala naye naso lo mfana kuba isikhathi singanani uyakhona ukuthi vele umthathe wonke vele sale vele abangaphansi kwakho.
Lo mfana vele umthatha liwonke ngekwekuthi ikakhulu umsitela lapha ekhaya kubo wenda konke lo kwendako kunaleti inhlangothi tekwekuthi mina ngidamthatha ngimsitele ekhaya kubo mina ngidamthatha ngimsite ngana indlela nayi dinengi leto tinhlangothi but umsita aze akhone kutimela lo mfana kushothi so uyakhona ukuthi uhulumende sombhadalela nase tertiary so ngiloko nje lobo budlelwane benu kudele cut off ukuthi si cut off kuze kugcine lapha but ifoster care lengasiyo iadoption ukuthi lo mfana so unemalungelo onke etinfo lenginato lakhaya kumsita nje ukuthi kubanjiswe uhulumende.
So uyakhona kubathatha bonke noma mhlawumbe uyakhona khetha ukuthi hayi ngidawukhona ababili mhlawumbe ngidawukhona munye athini vele ama terms and conditions.
Kuya ngelimasela lakho kuya ngesifiso sakho ukuthi uthatha wonke lomndeni noma uthatha baphi bantwana.
Okay nokuvala kokugcina nje make mavuso mhlawumbe kuva ukuthi amahhovisi aka social welfare nitfolakala kuphi nje kutiphi indzawo lapha even.
Mahhovisi aka social welfare akhona etindzaweni letinengi labanye akhona nasedibhedlela bakhona bosonhlala kahle leba attached edibhedlela but tonke tifundza tala kangwane akhona nakubospiki spiki Mbabane for akhona emahhovisi abosonhlala kahle khona nakalobamba khona bosteki enhlangano bohlathi naselibonjeni akhona emahhovisi abo sonhlala kahle kanti ihhovisi lelikhulu lisembabane labanye vele baconze embabane bese sebaya ukukhonjiswa-ke ukuthi idutane nawe ungathinzana naliphi lo-office.
Okay, no ngiyavakala sibanga kakhulu make Mavuso Mbukeli besikhulumisana naye make Zandile Mavuso disaster manager ehhovisini eliphini landvuna kakhulu sibuka nje isimo sebantfwana labatinhloko temindeni lapha ekhaya Eswatini ama-child headed households sizatawumela ke isurvey letawuphuma masinyane ukuva ukuthi ngabe vele linani labo selinganani lapha ekhaya Eswatini kepha-ke uqinisekisile make Mavuso ukuthi bangelihhovisi eliphini landvuna kakhulu kuba khona lusito lababaniketa lona laba bantfwana asibahlethe makethe siyabuya sitovala hlelo.
What do you think the best part of traveling is? Is it the food, or is it the conversation, or is it the sights and sound? If you're ready to explore, we are ready to show you the best way how. We'll give you access to the best luxury getaway sites in the Kingdom of Eswatini and of course show you vacation sites that suit your budget because you do not need a lot of money to actually have a great time. Join us on the next adventure on Buhle Bethu, only on Eswatini TV.
Well, it's 3 minutes before 8 o'clock. We've come to the end of our show. Sibonga kakhulu ukuthi nibe nathi somklex sisamba futhi ukuthi kunenglesi ile nikufundile lo muhla besikadona tindzaba tekufuya kwetinhlanti kanye nato tindzaba tema-child headed households lalapha eveni.
Ya ngaloko bongosi sibonga ukuthi inhlelo nathi nalo muhla asiphethe liviki lesikulo kusasa ngalesihlanu ibona suku loluhlanzane kahle.
Umsakado wetithombe iEswatini TV utibophelele kuhlonipha nekulandzela umgomo wetekusakata loweluswe libandla letekuchumana eveni.
Ngephansi kwalomgomo sitimisele kusakata tindzaba tenteya ngaleso sikhathi tindzaba letide magama laqosheme letitsembekile letitsinza tonke tinhlangothi naletisebaleni
kusukela kutepolitiki, tetemphilo, tekulima, tetinkantolo netemhlaba wonke jikelele siniletsela tindzaba njengoba tinjalo ngaleso sikhathi letenteka ngaso.
Kanzi kulomsakato siphindze sikulethele lonke luhlobo lwetemidlalo kusuka emidlalweni welibhola letinyawo kuya emidlalweni ledlalelwa ematafuleni kanye naleto letichamuka ngaphandle kwakuleli.
Leti tindzaba loutiletselwa ngumsakato wetithombe iEswatini TV.
Usasebenzisa bongqondomshina ikakhulu i-internet hlala uphephile uphephise nalabanye qaphela lokuvulako nalokuthumela labanye. A safe cyberspace for all. Be cyber smart.